for the benefit of it, inshallah ta'ala, as it's a very interesting and important topic that we spoke about. So, the past couple of weeks, we've been speaking about the relationship between the heart and the nafs, the aql, right? And we said that the heart, whatever it absorbs, is really and realistically what the person is all about. Because everything that you do and that manifests on your body is literally what's inside your heart. Hence why a person cannot say, a person that causes corruption and havoc and does evil and commits sin cannot claim that their heart is pure. Why? Because if you truly had a pure heart, then evil deeds would not permeate from you. Good things would happen. Good things would come out. And when very little good is being manifested on this body, then there is very little in that heart, or not enough to surface. Because the heart, like some of the Sahaba or the Tabi'een or the scholars of the past said, the heart is like a cup, right? When it's filled with something, it starts spilling it out. And when it spills out, that's the action. Right? So the heart makes the body do actions that are within it. طيب, now, how does Iblis have access to this heart? You remember what we said about that? Can Iblis come in and plug something into your heart? Yes or no? Huh? Nope. So Iblis, he actually only calls. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Nas, الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ, in their chest. Halla, what is in the chest? The heart is what's within. And then outside of it is what we call sudur, the sadr. And what is echoing inside the sadr? It's the nafs, your ego. Your nafs. And your nafs is what calls you to do desirable things. Because sometimes the nafs wants you to do something. Your nafs is telling you, hey, what's wrong with doing zina? What's wrong with doing this business transaction? What's wrong with cheating and making a little bit of extra money right here, right? And your nafs is what tells you to do these things. But your heart does what? Your heart's like, man, this doesn't feel good. I know, it's not me. I wouldn't cheat somebody. It's not within me. طيب, let's say the heart got weak because what's surrounding it is so evil. The Iblis is whispering. Their friends around them are whispering. Their nafs desires something. Their heart is very weak in rejecting it. It doesn't have the ability. What does it consult? You remember what we said? When the heart feels like it needs to consult someone, who does it consult? The mind. طيب, it goes to the mind. طيب, what does the mind say? Now, if the mind has ilm, it has knowledge, what does it do? It tells the heart, oh no, look, you remember Ad and Thamud? You remember, you see the examples? You remember Fulan, what happened to him? Man, you know what happens. You know there's no barakah in anything that you do. You know when you do this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make this and that happen to you. And you learn from the example. This is what knowledge is for. Knowledge makes the heart strong. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? أَمْ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. Right? They have hearts, but they don't understand with their hearts, because there's a connection between the heart and its understanding. So guys, we spoke after explaining the heart and explaining that Iblis has no control over it. He cannot really plug something. As a matter of fact, you know, I always ask this question and people are very, very surprised. Who's going to give the last sermon, the last speech on the Day of Judgment? Iblis. You would think it's someone else. It's actually Iblis, our enemy, the one who made us get into everything that we get into, the one who wanted us to go to Jahannam the whole time, the one who was preying on our children and our kids, pray as in P-R-E-Y, right? On our children and wanting us all to go to the hellfire. This Iblis would stand up. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. And Shaitan will say when everything is over. Everything is over. خلاص, whoever's written here is written here. Going to Jannah, you're going to Jannah. You're going Nar, you're going Nar. خلاص. Subhanallah. وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم. He said, Allah promised you and I promised you. And I went back on my promise. وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي. I just called you. And you were the ones that answered. You didn't have to listen to the whisper. You didn't have to, when Shaitan tells you, why don't you go and call this person? Why don't you go and meet with that friend? Why don't you go and accept this job? Why don't you go and talk to this person and watch this thing, download this app, do whatever it is that's getting you in trouble and farther away from Iman and is detrimental to your Iman. Shaitan never actually got you, grabbed you and put you in it. He said, إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I just called you and you answered. You listened. You had the option. You had the choice. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي. Don't blame me. وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Guys, wallahi, imagine how bad that's going to feel on the day of judgment when the one who promised you and the one who told you, the one who beautified and decorated this dunya, made it look so pretty in your eyes, made the whole world be about money, be about glamour, be about the car I drive, the house I live, how decorated it is, right? I need to dress nice. I need to always look fresh. I need to smell the best. I need to do everything. It's all about the dunya. Everything I'm focused on is dunya related. What happens? At the end of the day, he's like, oh, I didn't tell you anything. I just called you. You're the one that actually believed. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخِكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتُمْ بِمُصْرِخِي. Right? He's like I can't outspeak you. خلاص, no one can outspeak the other right now. Allah's word was complete. And then he takes a hit. You know what's even worse? When you have like that person that always, I don't know if you ever went, like in school, in elementary school, there's always this kid that tells you, hey, why don't you go and do this? Why don't you go and do this? And then you're like, yeah, let me go and do that. And then you go do it, and then they're like, look what he's doing, teacher. Right? To just get you in trouble. At the end, Shaitan is going to do something similar. He's going to say, إِنِّي كَفَرْتُ بِمَا أَشْرَكْتُمُونِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. He said, I disbelieve. He's going to say, I disbelieve in what you believed in me. You worshipped Iblis. You worshipped Isa ibn Maryam. You worshipped Hubal and Lat and Uzza. You worshipped other than Allah. I disbelieve in all of that. I just believe in. He actually is going to say, I believe in Allah only. Imagine. Iblis is going to say that. So it's going to hurt even more. So this by itself is going to be the first punishment of the people of Jahannam. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, to actually know that everything they believed in and everyone they believed in besides Allah is going to let them down. And then we said, subhanallah, how does Iblis have access to this heart of ours? How does he get in? He keeps knocking this door and knocking this door and knocking this door. How do we reject it? How do we close it? We said one of the avenues, one of the most classic tricks of Iblis. You remember? Can we brainstorm a few? You remember what we said last time? How does he try to access our hearts? The first one is, anger. And we said why? Because anger blocks the mind. Khalas. And when the mind is blocked, khalas, it's just the heart and whatever's around it, whatever's in the sadr. So if he does waswas, khalas. Yeah. Eventually the heart's going to give in and absorb. And it's going to keep absorbing evil. And that's why angry people or people that have a short temperament are the people that are most prone to falling for the plots of Iblis. Always. Always. They could be great people. MashaAllah, they could have good hearts. They could want khair, but they get angry very fast. They have a very short temperament. These people, with all the good that they have, with all the khair that they can produce, they're some of the most prone to Iblis's plots and Shaitan's plots because of what? Because their heart has no reinforcement. There's nothing. It's just the heart and whatever's in it. Subhanallah. We said the desire for the dunya and the love for wealth, وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا, to the point where people work their whole life and their only goal is what? Just dunya. They want money. They want wealth. They want cars and luxury buildings, and they want to stand to their friends and say, look what I got. You know, oh, I'm better than Fulan. I got more than Fulan. He has a house, yeah, I got a bigger house. He has a car, yeah, I have a better car. Yeah, mine's faster. Yeah, oh, mine's cleaner. Oh, mine's newer. It's all about the dunya. To the point where the person loves the dunya so much that they focus all on the dunya and they can't worship Allah until their dunya is straight. They'll follow every haram means to gain wealth. They'll sell liquor. They'll do riba. They'll go in every shady business you could think of. But the moment they have money, then they have time to come to pray Isha and Jama'ah, mashallah. They have time for Allah. But the moment, okay, they're good for a while after they're given wealth and after they're given that comfort. Deen is a luxury. Deen is an add-on. Deen is a pacification. Yani some people, subhanallah, I was talking to my mechanic recently. I went over, very funny story. He gets into one of the customers came to inspect, he came to check his car, and he saw a picture of this guy, some guy hanging on the rear view mirror. And it was a picture, and this mechanic, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, yani. He's a good brother, but sometimes he doesn't say the most wise things, right? And he's like, oh, who's this idiot? He tells the customer. And he's like, that's my prophet. You want to take a wild guess who? Agha Khan, yeah. He was an Ismaili guy. And he said, that's my prophet. And he's like, oh, you said brother, so I thought you're Muslim. He's like, I am Muslim. He's like, bro, you ain't with this guy hanging in your car. So I'm sorry, you ain't my brother. It was so funny. He's like, how dare you say that? He's like, all right, what does this guy do for you? What does this guy, what can he looks pretty normal to me, right? And then he's like, well, this guy, we give him, I don't know what percent of a year of our income, and he makes things halal so we could sell liquor and pork and this and deal with all types of, and that's it. And he's good. He's like, and you believe that type of stuff? He's like, yeah. He's like, bro, I don't want your business, man. So he just left. And subhanallah, yani, it's so simple. But you see this tawheed, this simple tawheed that a person has, we should all have that type of, that one. But there's people like that around us who shaitan plots for them. These are the seasonal type of Muslims, right? They want to worship God. They want to build a beautiful masjid. But after they make all their money, after they do everything, they steal, they cheat, they lie, they murder, they do riba, they do all the 7 mubiqat, the worst deeds, they do everything, and then they have time for Allah after. And it's not even about Allah, it's about them feeling good. Like they worship Allah so they can feel good, not so Allah is pleased. They don't care about that. They just know that they're guilty, and they're like, this makes me feel less guilty. أعوذ بالله من ذلك. Wallahi, that is al-khusran al-mubin. That is al-khusran. That is the utter loss. The one who does amal al-akhirah min ajl al-dunya. He does the actions of the hereafter, or what they look like, in order to receive something in the dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from the likes of these people. Wallah, there's people around us, you meet on a day-to-day basis at your work and your schools and whatnot, and at your jobs, call them to Allah. Call them to Tawheed. Call them to the oneness of Allah, and talk to them the way Allah said to talk to them. You know what He said? He said, وَقُلْ لَهُمْ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَوْلًا. What was the word? بَلِيغًا. And tell them within themselves a concise word. Meaning, don't talk to the outside. Don't talk to the smoke screen that people give you. Oh, you see, my issue with hijab or my issue with Islam is... Talk to them in their nafs. Talk to them about themselves. Tell them, what do you feel about this? Do you feel that you're honest? Do you truly and sincerely believe what you're saying right now? Allah is telling us to give da'wah like that. Talk deep. Tell them about themselves. Tell them, what is it that Allah did not give you so you don't believe in Him? What did He give you so that you don't thank Him and be grateful to Him? You truly believe you came from nothing? You know, talk to them like that, and guess what? Wallahi, when you start bringing things back to the nafs, to the inside, da'wah is always going to be easy. I've seen people debate for days on end. But what about what Islam says about this? But what about this verse right here? I can't understand it. Or this hadith, and you're trying to go, and I got to do research. No, talk to them in themselves. And wallahi, you're going to find that when you talk in the people, you talk to their hearts, you know what's going to happen? You're going to unlock the real problem. You're going to unlock the real issue. And then once you get to that, then you address that. And that's it. Usually all the other stuff is a smokescreen. And that's how we give da'wah, with the heart. But it starts with purifying who? Purifying our own. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cleanse our hearts. Allahumma tahhir qulubana min al-nifaq, wa a'malana min al-riya, wa alsinatana min al-kadhib, wa a'yunana min al-khiyana. Allahumma taqabbal minna ya Rabb al-alameen. Allahumma ij'alna عاملين بما نعلم يا رب العالمين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا عليم ويا حكيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله.